What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the madness. Today we're going to be doing another Axe Effects tutorial, and today we're talking about the pitch block. I love the pitch block, mostly because I love tinkering with my vocals, and I love adding those crazy, weird octave funk tones to your guitar. So, without any further delay, let's jump right into this sucker. Swoop. All right, here we go. So here I am on the top right. We got Axe Edit in the middle, notes from the block menu on the bottom right. So we're going to be using my Smokin' Crickets preset for the majority of the processing here. We'll be using my guitar and vocals both, so you can get kind of an idea of what you might do in both scenarios. So let's get to learning, right? So this is what my guitar sounds like with the pitch block on. Add some drive to it. And so this is just with a an octave divider, which is one of the simplest of the types of pitch block effect that you can get out of this thing. But let's go into detail about what these types are and what they give you as far as options go. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go down through these different types of pitch effects, and I'm going to show you that there's a bunch of different tabs that come from the various different types, right? So right now we're at the advanced whammy, and it has a whammy tab. You go to the arpeggiator and it has the sequencer, the key scale, and the master and dynamics tab. Go to classic whammy, you just got a whammy. Then you've got the crystal echoes, which is voices, splice, and master, harmony, pitch, detune, modulation, detune, master mod, harmony, master mod, and custom, and that's on the dual diatonic. The detune, which is the octave divider, which I had at first, which you heard the tone of. The quad chromatic, pitch, delay, master mod, pitch, delay, master mod, detune, delay, modulation. As you can see, there's actually a bunch of them that are kind of sticking around for a bunch of these. But I just kind of wanted to show you what exactly you get out of this thing. So that was all of them. So mostly it's like detune, master mod, pitch, voice, splice, and things that you've seen in other blocks if you've been watching my tutorials. So let's start off with the whammy. Also, if you guys are getting any sort of use out of these videos, which I hope to God you are, just do me a big favor and smack the like button or the subscribe button or both. It really helps this channel kind of grow, and it lets me get more content out to you guys over time. Appreciate you. Let's get back into it. It's pretty easy. Kind of goes start, stop, control. Where is it starting? And so what you're going to want to do with this a lot of times is you're going to want to set some sort of modifier to these, such as an LFO, and then you can see what it kind of sounds like. And then if you go do another LFO here, as you can see, I'm not doing anything except for hitting that. But we're not going to do that right now. I just wanted to show you that it doesn't really do too much until you add a modifier to it, such as an expression pedal or something like that. So that's the advanced whammy. Let's go to the arpeggiator. So what this thing is doing is it's stepping through these different shifts, basically depending on the key scale. Right now it's in key of A with Ionian major as the scale. You go back up here, and when you play a note, and depending on what you set these to and how many steps, it can go all the way up to 16. It will basically give you a different sounding arpeggio, you know? So you can just kind of throw up random things. You can go negative or positive. Step it all the way up to 16. This is what it sounds like. Things like that. So I'll set this back to normal. I don't really want to do all that, but I won't. So classic whammy, pretty much the same thing as the advanced, but this one will tell you, like, oh, I want this one. Once again, set that to an expression pedal. Pretty self-explanatory, nothing too crazy. Crystal echoes. Now this one is pretty interesting because what it's doing is it's taking your input signal, it's chopping them up into a bunch of samples, and then it's operating on them individually. So you can shift, detune, delay, feed them back, splice them together in a bunch of different interesting ways. So that's what the deal is with the Crystal Echo. It's one of the very unique types of pitch effect. So what you've got here is you've got a shift, and the shift is shifting over by semitones plus or minus up to 24 each. The detune is shifting by up to plus or minus 50 cents, and a cent is right here. It's a logarithmic measurement for musical intervals. You can take a look at that on Wikipedia if you want. Just figured I'd let you know 100 cents is a 12 semitone kind of scale, or 12 semitones. Then you got the delay. You know what a delay is. A delay is up to 2,000 milliseconds, and then feedback, as much feedback as you want, levels and pans, which is, left and right in your speakers or whatever. Then you've got the splice. And the splice is how you'll listen. You hear those like kind of after echoes? That's the time it takes for them to get to you. So if you set these both to 1, almost no time at all. If you set the diffusion up and it's at 1 millisecond, it's going to sound very like kind of blurry. And that's the deal with that. Then you've got the master, which controls all the different pieces, so pitch, feedback, pan, and level. And that's the Crystal Echoes. You can kind of tinker with that as you like. I'm sorry I didn't give you a really good sounding one, but I'll leave that to you. Custom shifter. This one's nice because you can have a harmony, and I'll show you what that sounds like right now. So we've got this custom shifter in D flat right now. Let's set our scale down to maybe 5 and 5. Set these to 0. See what it sounds like. Then once you start to implement or give yourself some detune, that's when this tone just starts to just sound like butter. Sounds so good. This is like my 13.5 on both directions. That's like my favorite. Sounds wicked good. But that's what's going on here. You've got the scale, you got the detune, which is like once again in cents. You got the level, pan, delay. You got a master and a mod, for shifting. And I would definitely recommend checking these out. So that's the custom shifter for you. Let's go on to dual chromatic. So once again, we got another shift. As you can tell, this time it's really shifting your shit. So that's kind of what's going on here. You're shifting by a certain amount of semitones on both voices, and then you're detuning them by a certain amount of semitones also. So you're not really actually shifting by 13 if you're also detuning by a positive number. It's more or less like kind of closer to 12, negative 12. And this one's closer to 6. So let's keep on moving on. Master mod again. You got all these master. You got tracking and modulation, LFOs and whatnot. That's what's going on in there. Dual detune. This one is similar. You've got a straight up detune. Let's use my voice for this one because detuning your voice sounds so cool. All right, so now my voice is detuned. And if I move this over, hold on a second. All right, now if I slap a reverb in here, and then maybe I detune it a little bit more. Maybe slap a little bit of modulation in here, increase the depth, and now I've got this pretty cool sounding effect on my voice. And it sounds like I could be a singer, baby. In case you want to go for that kind of sound. All right, let's get these things back in order. Sounds pretty good though, right? So then we go back to the dual detune. Once again, that was just a detune, delay, level, and pan, and modulation with an LFO. Now let's go to dual detune delay. Now you can imagine, right off the bat, the name tells it all. It's the same thing with a delay. Imagine that. We've got a delay and a feedback, 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 1, and 2 to 2. Now that's kind of important when you look at these structures of what's going on in here. So if you find the one that you're looking for in here, then look at it. Take a look, give yourself some opportunity to learn something new. But that's what's going on. The feedback is going from 1 to 1, 1 to 2, and then you can control that stuff individually. Got master and mod again here too. So if I increase the feedback, and now know that this is feeding back voice 1 to voice 1 and voice 1 to voice 2. If I don't want them intermingling, I just turn these to 0. So that's what that's doing. Now we got dual diatonic. So now we've got harmony again. Well, that went interesting. So let's check out, we got harmony here once again, notes and semitones. And then we got two voices once again. We got detune again. Change the scale, maybe let's go with the pentatonic major. Notice it's learning, it's taking the key into effect as well. We got master mod, which got modulation, shifting, tracking, how like if you want it smooth or stepped. You got a glide time as well. And that's basically how long it takes for it to shift to that spot. And then we've got custom. So you can create a custom scale if you'd like to, with the number of notes that you want. So I haven't used this really too much, but obviously it's here for you to use. So if you want, you can go to here and take your custom scale right here. All right, let's go on to the next. Octave divider. And that's the one that you heard way in the beginning when I was first starting off. So I think this thing sounds dope. It's got so much funk just built right in. Yep, sick. But that's what that one's doing. You can pan it left and right. You can change the level. It's not much going on. It's literally it's really 4 knobs. And the pan one's just for where it's going. Just level and pan. Keeping it simple and sounds great. All right, quad chromatic. So now you're able to shift 24 once again, detuning up to 50, panning. You got 4. You got quad chromatic detuning. Then you've got a whole delay. You've got master mod. This thing's getting crazy. So this one is one of those ones where you can really kind of tinker with this thing quite a bit. So maybe if I go down 1, up 1, maybe down 3, up 3. Detune by maybe a little bit. Just a tiny tad. See what happens. Whoa, that sounds garbage. Maybe go up by 7. We go up by 8. Either way, this is one that you've really got to kind of mess with in order to get it to sound right. I'm sure there's kind of presets way back in the 200s that could use this thing and you'll be able to take something from that. But I would not waste your time making something sound good. All I wanted to do is tell you how to use it. So that's what's going on here. You know how to use delays. It's the time to delay your voice, the tempo for doing so. They're tied together as always. And then you've already heard me tell you what each of these does and each of these does. So let's go on to the next. Quad chromatic delay. Same thing as quad chromatic, but with delay. Quad detune. Same thing as dual detune, but with quads. So now you got 4 different voices. Let's throw this thing down on my voice. All right. So now we've got 4 different voices that we're tinkering with. So now let's go ahead and do all this crazy shit and, see what happens. Let's add some delay. Whoa. Nope, don't want that. All right, so now we know we've got that going on. Let's change this to maybe 6, -6. Now we've got 4 different detuned voices on this one. Sounds good. Sounds pretty cool. Let's get this thing back over here. All right, so we've seen quad detune. Let's go check out quad diatonic. Now you've got more harmonies that are available to you. And all have detune. You've got delay. You've got key and scale. You've got custom scales, and then you got master mod. So these things, it gets pretty crazy. This pitch block is absurd. You can mess with this thing for very long time. Let's keep on going. Quad diatonic delay. Once again, same thing as quad diatonic. Add the delay. Now you got feedback involved. And then virtual capo. Now this is for basically normal sound. A little bit detuned there. If you want to add, maybe a 3-shift capo, now you're shifted, or if you're in standard tuning, now you're kind of got a capo on G, right? Right? Shift it to G. That's what's going on. You hear what's going on. That's what the virtual capo is. All right. So that is everything on this whole pitch block. Once again, not like crazy as far as you see it on tabs, but all the different varieties of pitch effects that you can get from this block is astounding. You can mess with this thing and have it leading into other effects. You saw what happens when you lead a pitch into a reverb. There's many opportunities out there, guys. And don't be afraid don't be afraid to use it on your vocals, because it sounds great. Why not utilize it for it? You've got a bunch of DSPs inside this thing. You might as well use it to its utmost potential. So appreciate you guys sticking around. I hope you guys got something out of it. If you did, slap the like and subscribe if you choose. But until the next time, I'll catch you all on the flippy floppy, y'all. Ciao.